Welcome back, everyone, to All About the Sound and making learning English easier with the 3P approach. We are still on the third P, the most important P, phonics. And today we're going to talk about something called the Roman or Latin alphabet. We weren't introduced to this alphabet until we got to the phonics component because prior to that it was all about the sound and what we're hearing. Now we are going to connect what we're seeing to what we're hearing. And we use the Roman or Latin alphabet in the English language. It's a 26-letter alphabet, a series of letters that help us to spell words and help us to know how to read the words that we are seeing. Now, the Roman alphabet is just one of many alphabets in the world. This Roman alphabet is something that many different languages use. It consists, like I said, of 26 letters. And of those 26 letters, we have 5 vowel sounds and 21 consonant sounds. So today we're going to learn about that alphabet. It may be the first time you are seeing it and hearing it, or it may be something you're very familiar with. Regardless, I want you to listen along and pretend like you're learning about the Roman alphabet for the very first time. Thank you for joining in. Please stay tuned. Like I said, many different languages will use the Roman alphabet, this version and collection of letters, vowels, and consonant sounds. Every language will use the Roman alphabet a little bit differently. So depending on what type of language you are, if you're Romanic or Germanic or Slavic, you may have a different representation and a different use of this alphabet. You may use more than 26 letters. You may use less than 26 letters. You may use your vowels or your consonant sounds differently. So let's have a little look at how international this Roman or Latin alphabet we're learning is actually all about. Under the Romantic languages, which include Italian, Spanish, French, and Portuguese, the use of the Roman Latin alphabet is much like the Germanic use of it, or Romanian too falls under the Romance, which includes English and German. It is also used, I said, by the Slavic tongue. And we see this in Poland, Czechoslovakia, Croatia. And in Croatia and Czechoslovakia and Poland, we may use this, what is a version of it called the Gaj, G-A-J version of the Roman alphabet, which maybe looks very differently, but once you get the hang of the Roman alphabet, you have a much easier time with the other languages, regardless of what version is being used. It's also used to some degree in Turkish, Albania, Hungary, and in Finland, and it's also used by the Malo-Indonesian population. So as you can see, the Roman alphabet is a pretty popular alphabet in the world. So English is not the only time that you will see it. If you get the handle of it in one language, it's much easier to learn another language because you're already familiar with the alphabet. It is said to be fairly easy to go from English to French because of that familiarity, and from French, say, to Spanish. And if we're using a different version, we may see a little bit more of a challenge learning that language, but it is still much easier than learning another language that does not use the Roman alphabet. So remember, the Roman alphabet as it's used in English includes 26 letters. Of those 26 letters, however, we are creating 44 different phonemes, 44 different sounds. So remember that. Though there are 26 letters in the alphabet, the English language includes 44 different sounds. So the Roman alphabet consists of 26 letters. And there is a bit of a rhyme that's used in English to help us remember the ABCs. I'm going to say it by myself, and then I will go slowly over each letter. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, and Y, and Z. Now you know your ABCs. Won't you sing along with me? Of course, I'm not going to ask you to sing along with me. You probably out-sing me any day regardless. But let's go through those letters again. This is a way of chunking them and remembering the letters of the alphabet. First four, A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. The next section is 3, E, F, G, E, F, G. The next section is in 4s, H, I, J, K, H, I, J, and K. Next is a 5-rounder, L, M, N, O, P. Now we only have to remember 3, Q, R, S, and then T, U, B, W, X, Y, and Z. Let's do that again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now this letter is confusing because in English, Canadian English or British English, it's pronounced said. In American English, it's pronounced C. It's said in Canada, though you'll still hear, because we're so close to the American border, a lot of people saying C, but it is actually said, according to the British English. Anyway, that's your alphabet. Now let's break them down according to those components. A, B, C, D. The A here is can have very different sounds and pronunciations. So I want you to be aware of that. Though I'm only showing you one word with one of the sounds that the vowel can make or the consonant can make, it can have very many different versions and sounds. And remember, 44 phonemes in English, and we're only talking about 26 letters. That means that the letters make different sounds, okay? And their combinations will also make different sounds. So apple, apple. We're hearing the A sound, but we see the A in apple, apple. So one way of remembering A is by remembering the picture of an apple. B, box. One way of remembering B is to picture the box. C can have the sound or it can have a cuss sound. In this case, it has the cuss sound, cat, cat. Remember cat for C. Dog, dog, D, dog. So again, they may make different sounds. I'm only showing you one word for each sample, but you will see different sounds with the D in different words. So we had A, B, C, D. Now we're on E, F, G. So you'll see the E, the uppercase E and the little e. And I use the word elephant, elephant, because you'd have two E's in it, actually each making a different sound, but elephant, elephant. Then we have the F, which is for fish, fish. Then we have the G for giraffe, giraffe. See the G here, F and E. So far we've had A, B, C, D. E, F, G. Now we're on H, I, J, K. So we'll start with the H. You see the uppercase and the lowercase, and then we can have that sound in that letter seen in the word hat. Hat. Over here we have the I, the upper I and the lower I, and this can be seen in the word ice cream. Ice cream. And that's a long I sound we're hearing. Then we have the J. J can be represented by jump, and you see somebody jumping using the jumping rope. And then K can be kite. Okay? H, I, J, K. Then we're moving on to LMNOP, and that's 5. LMNOP. L, M, N, O, P. For the L, we see the uppercase and the lowercase. I'm starting the letters with the uppercase. We see letter as in I'm writing and sending a letter to you. Letter, the L is there. M, we can think of mail as in mail. See the mailbox. Sending the letter in the mailbox. Then we have N for nose, and that's one way of remembering it, nose. O for orange, and there's a slice of an orange there. And P for people. We see the P here and the P there. P, people. And we'll go over those sounds later on. Now we're going to move on, but I'm going to tell you right now I made a boo-boo. There should only have been 3 letters on this slide because our next section of letters are QRS. QRS. So let's try that. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. And it should just be QRS. T, U, V should be on the next slide, but I included the 2 on this one. Forgive me if I'm confusing you. So let's look at these letters. QRS to start with. QRS. We have Q for queen. We have R for ring. We have S for so. Okay? QRS. Our next bunch of letters should be TUV. So if we're starting with the T, we would have T for train. So we should have TUV here, T for train, but because of my error, we only have the U and the V. So we have U and V. U for umbrella, V for violin. U for umbrella, V for violin. There are many different sounds these consonants can make and these vowels can make, and we'll discuss those in greater detail as we move on. I am just giving you one sample of where you might see that letter in a word. And it may help you to remember the letters of the alphabet when you see a picture with them. So let's review what we've had so far before we move on. We've had A, B, C, D. Then we had E, F, G. Then we had H, I, J, K. And then we had the long one, L, M, N, O, P. Then we had Q, R, S. And supposedly, though I made a mistake, T, U, V. Now we have W and X. So W the uppercase looks just like it's lowercase. X, the uppercase looks like it's lowercase. So we'll see whale, the W in whale or water, but I'm just giving you whale as an example here. And in the X, we will see it in xylophone, though X seldom starts a word, but it's often seen in words like axe or ox in there, and we'll have that distinct sound. Again, these letters can make different sounds according to how they're placed in a word. So I'm just showing you one representation to help you to remember the way the word, what's connected to that letter as a visual more than as a sounding or phonetic tool at this point. And finally, we have Y and said. Y and said. Y, I teach yoga, so I had to put yoga in there. Y stands can be for yoga, someone doing a yoga pose. And said for zebra. Now, even though I said it's said, not see, Canadians tend to pronounce this animal with the stripes zebra rather than zebra, but you will hear zebra in the UK. And incorrectly, if we are saying said, it should be pronounced zebra, but we tend still to say zebra in Canada, just so in case you hear those sounds. So that's our alphabet. And are you ready to say them all together again? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. This is the long one. L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Great job! So it is important that you find a way to remember the alphabet and remember the consonants and vowels and have a good idea of how these letters look when you're writing and spelling and reading as well. But there's some things we need to remember. This little presentation series that I'm doing is all about the sound, so we have to remember that, okay? It isn't about so much what we're seeing, but we are now trying to combine what we're seeing with what we're hearing. Graphemes, then, are letters used to represent phonemes. The letters in the alphabet are not necessarily graphemes until they are used to represent a certain phoneme in a certain way. They are just letters of the alphabet. When they are used to make a sound or to represent a sound, then they are graphemes. There are only 26 letters in the Roman alphabet. That means graphemes may consist of a variety of letter combinations. That also means that each letter in the alphabet may make several different sounds depending on the context in which it is used, okay? And we also will use, quite often, especially with the vowel sounds, combine letters together to create one sound, okay? So what you're seeing in English, unfortunately, may not be equivalent to what you're hearing. English does not always look the way it sounds, and you need to be mindful of that as we progress along. Now I'm over in a different spot now in case you're looking for me over in the other corner. Now we're going to talk about the vowels or the vowel sounds. Our alphabet, the 26 letters used in English, consists of 5 vowels and 21 consonants. 5 vowels and 21 consonants. What are vowels and what are consonants and what do they have to do with learning English, crazy lady? Well, I'm just about ready to show you. Let's have a look. The vowels are the heart of each word, okay? So there's only 5, but of those 5 letters from the alphabet, we build our words around the heart of the word. And there's only 5 of them. The 5 vowels are A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. And it says sometimes Y. Y is one of the 21 consonants, but it is the only consonant that can also be used to replace a vowel because it can make the sound of the E or the I in English. Okay, so we have 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y, which will replace the vowel to make the I sound or the E sound. So what letters of the alphabet, the Roman alphabet, will you be seeing and using as vowels, the heart of each word? Again, A, E, I, O, U, sometimes Y. A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Is there any reason, do you think, that I keep repeating this over and over again? Yes, it's very, very important to remember this. Remember your vowels. They will help with your word building and your word decoding when the time comes. A, E, I, O, U are the letters of the Roman alphabet used to represent vowel sounds. And of course, sometimes Y to replace the E or the I sound. There's only 5 vowel letters and possibly Y, but 22 vowel phonemes. That means 22 vowel sounds. We're making 22 vowel sounds out of only 5 vowel letters. How does that happen? We're going to find out. Many different letter combinations make the graphemes that represent sound. Grapheme then can have more than one letter in it, okay, to make one sound. Our vowel sounds are made by several different combinations of vowel letters and even consonants. So we will learn all about that when we get into the middle of our decoding and encoding words. But for now, know that many different letter combinations make the graphemes that represent the sound. So again, vowel phonemes and graphemes. Phonemes are the sounds we're hearing. Graphemes are the letters used and the letter combinations used to represent that sound. Vowel phonemes and their representations are a bit more complicated than consonant sounds because we may use several different vowels to make one sound, or we may use a combination of vowels and consonants to make a vowel sound. There's many combinations of letters, many graphemes can be used to create the same vowel sound, and in general, vowel sounds are said to be either short or long. So what I want you to remember right now is that a vowel sound can be long or short. What do I mean by long or short vowel sounds? We will learn. So a long vowel sound then is a vowel sound that basically says its own name. So in other words, when I see the letter, how I pronounce the letter is how the letter will sound in a word. So our vowels again, the vowel letters are A, E, I, O, U. So if I hear an A in the word, it is long. If I hear an E in the word, it is long. And if I hear the I in a word, it is long. If I hear a O in the word, it is long. If I hear a U or an oo in the word, it is long. That sound, when we know it is a long vowel sound, a vowel saying its name, is represented by a macron. A macron is this line over the vowel. Okay, so when you see this line over the vowel, we know we're going to hear, for example, E in the word. If I said B as in bumblebee, that E I'm hearing is long, and I will see that over the E. Many combinations of letters can be used to create that sound. So if I said be as in to be or not to be, that's only one E, but we still hear the E saying its name, be, so it has a macron over the E. If I say bumblebee, I still have an E sound, exact same sound, but I have a combination of 2 letters to make that grapheme that represents that long E sound. Confused yet? It can get confusing, but we are going to work our way through one word at a time, and for now, one letter at a time. So I'm just sticking with the E as an example, and that macron could be over the A, the I, the O, the U. just so you know. But for now, we're using the example of E. So we're hearing E. And of course, the phonetic representation of that sound, what we've been using up until the point we got familiar with our Roman alphabet, is these two signs. Tend to use this maybe more in English than this one. But that right there means we're hearing a long E sound. We're hearing the E in the word. Like as in cheese. See, I use two E's to make that long E sound. I use this as something called a magic E, and we'll learn about this again when we do the middle of our word work. But I still have two E's, but I have one displaced by a consonant. They're not together. But that's called a magic E, and that makes this E as well. So I'm hearing these. Then I hear it in me, one E. And I also hear it in this combination of letters, an I or an E, as in brief. So as you can see, it's many different ways of spelling that. We also have an EA to make an E as well. So these graphemes, these are called the EA together is one grapheme. The IE is a grapheme. The E here is a grapheme. This combination, even though separated by a consonant, is a grapheme, as are these. So there's many different ways we can make that long E sound or represent it in a word using letters. So that was long vowel sounds, and I do not want to get into too much detail. They take a whole PowerPoint presentation all by themselves. So we will get to that when we get to the middle of our word parts. Right now we're focusing simply on the Roman alphabet. So what are short vowel sounds? I'm going to briefly describe that to you as well. We had our long, and now we had our short vowel sounds. These are vowels that do not say their own names. So they're graphemes that don't say the name of a vowel. So I will not hear A, I will not hear E, I will not hear I will not hear O, I will not hear U, even though I may see those letters in the word. The vowel sound is short. The grapheme will usually be a single vowel letter, whereas I showed you in the long vowel, the different long vowel sounds, how we can have a combination, double E's and an E and an A and an I and an E and a displaced E's. In a short vowel sound, we tend to only have one vowel letter making that sound. So often when I see A in a word, especially a short word, followed by, preceded by one consonant, followed by a consonant, it is going to be short. It's not going to say its name. And these are usually represented by a breve. Whereas the macron was the straight line, a breve is like a little smiley face on top of our letters. When I see that sign, I know the vowel I'm seeing is not saying its name. So let's look at short A, for example, a short A sound. We see the A, but it's not saying its name. Often, though there are very different, we may be using different phonetic symbols for that, this is the one we tend to see a lot in our short A, okay? This one here, and you should have been familiar with this with our phonemic awareness and phonological awareness section. But we have an A with our breve on top, so we know it's not saying its name. We often see these, like I said, in shorter words that have one consonant at the beginning and a consonant at the end. And when I say short words, I'm also referring to word parts, because several small words can make one word when they're joined together, as in a compound noun. Or we can have word parts that act like short words by themselves, joining up with other word parts to form a bigger word. But let's look at our single syllable words like cat. That one right there, I have a consonant before it, I have a consonant at the end, so I know that A is going to have a breve over it. It's going to be short. It's going to make that ah sound, not the A sound. Cat. I don't hear A. Same with bad. Single letter, single consonant here, single consonant there. Bad. I'm hearing that sound. Bad. Ran. That sound there. So we are moving on again from vowel sounds. I do not want you to be too concerned. I want you to know your vowels because we are talking about the alphabet here. Know that different graphemes are not necessarily the letters as we see them. They could be combinations of letters, or they could be a letter that makes different sounds. All a grapheme does is represent the phonemes. So when I'm talking about vowels, we have many different combinations that can make one vowel sound. So we will talk about that a lot more and in much more detail when we get into the middle of our word or word part building and decoding. For now, just know 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Okay, and know that they can come in different combinations to make a sound. I also want you to know that we have long vowel sounds that say their name, and where we hear the A, the I, the E, the O, and the U in the word. And then we also have short vowel sounds, which make a sound that is not clear. The vowel is not saying its name. Okay, and that's represented by a breve, where the long vowel sound is represented by a micron. Now moving on to our consonants. We had 5 vowel sounds, 1 consonant that can act as a vowel, and we have 21 consonants. 21 letters that are considered consonants in the Roman alphabet. Consonants are the walls of a word. Where our vowel sound was the heart of the word, the consonants are the walls that give words structures. So again, we have some confusion with the amount of number, or the number of letters we have and the sounds we're hearing. There's possibly 26 consonant sounds in Canadian English. 26 sounds, and we only have 21 consonant letters in the alphabet. How does that work, I wonder? Each consonant letter in the alphabet can create a different sound in a word. Let's take the C then. C can make C sound as in scent. Scent, you hear that soft, almost an S sound. And it can make the K sound as a K sound, as in cat. So every consonant can make more than one sound depending on how it is used in a word. So let's go through our consonants and the sounds they can make. In the first column, you will see the consonant. In the second column, you'll see the phonetic symbol representing the sound that consonant will make. And then I will give you examples of words where that sound can be heard. Now, you will be missing 5 letters of the alphabet from this presentation on consonants. Do you remember what they will be? If you said A, E, I, O, U, you are absolutely right. You will, however, see the Y as a consonant in this list. So let's begin with B, C, and D. There's the uppercase B and the lowercase b. It makes the B, B, B sound. Ball, bat, burn. And that's the only sound the B will make, is that B sound. Then we have our C sound. It can make 3 different sounds. It can make the K, as in cat, captain, cycle. Or it can make the sound center, scent. Or it can make the sound ocean, ocean. 3 sounds that C can make depending on what word it is used in. Then we come down to our D sound. D can make D, as in dad, down, dog. It can make a t sound, as in laughed, brushed, watched. Or it can make a sh sound, as in educate and edge. Again, depending on how it is used in a word. We're moving on then to the F. F can make two different sounds, okay? It can make the fig, fat, fur, fun, and off. It can also make the v sound, as in of. So try saying off and of. Two totally different sounds that F is making, again according to how it's used in a word. We're moving down to the G sound, and G can make as in g sound, as in go, goat, guy, get, reg. Can also make that j sound, as in gym, almost like a J sound, giant, gentle, gem, age, page. And it can make that ch sound, beige, beige, beige. H only makes one sound, thank goodness, and it's the h sound. House, hat, hair, hand, hello, and hue. J, I think I might be missing one of my J's here. I hope not, but I think I'm missing a sound. J makes a ch, jam, jelly, jan sound. Moving on to the K sound, k, one sound. Kick, kite, kind, like. L makes a l sound, like, love, long, all, hello, male. M makes one sound, milk, man, mum, hem, amend, amount. N makes one sound, nan, no, not, never, can, tin, renew. P makes one sound, pop, point, pup, cup, appeal. Q makes two sounds. It makes the qu sound as in queen, quite, quiet, and it makes a k sound as in conquer. R makes a r sound, roar, race, run, pirate, bird, horse, bear, car, chair. So we're hearing that sound. It could also make sometimes a not a very pronounced sound, as in right, real, and grow. S can make 1, 2, 3, 4 sounds. It can make the sat, Sam, so, basic, cost, pressure. It can make the dessert, was, beds, and moves. You hear more of a friction there. It can make the sh sound, as in pressure, sugar. And it can make the sh sound, illusion, conclusion. So those are the 4 sounds that S can make. T makes 2 sounds. It makes a sh, patient sound. It can make a situate sound, and it should also be here, and I don't know why I'm missing it. This is the basic t sound, as in tent, t. It must be underneath here, so forgive me. It can also make a t sound, though it's not included on this chart for some reason. Continuing along with our alphabet, we're at the V, and V just makes a van, love, vice, advice, adverb, so a v sound. W makes a w sound, way, water, wave, ah, how, and wow. And X, my goodness, that can make an awful lot of sounds. That makes 5 sounds. It can make X as in axe, axe, or fox, or box. It can make this exist. It can make obnoxious. It can make that sh sound, because it's almost like a K and an S together, obnoxious. Then it can make a K and a sh sound together, as in a luxury, luck. You hear the K, sh. It's like a k, sh together, luxury. And then it can just make the said sound as in xylophone, xylophone. So moving on, we have the Y, which makes a y sound as in year and yellow. We also have the said sound, which can make this sound, and we often hear this in the American pronunciation of this letter, as in sig and seg and sum and basar. And we have the sound as in seizure, seizure. So we're hearing a sh sound. But we don't hear just the said sound, s, which would be like in zebra, zebra, if we were saying it the way the British pronounce it. We don't have that sound on this list, so you can include it. So that's our alphabet. Let's say it together. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now you know your ABCs. Won't you come and sing with me? Great job. So let's go over that alphabet again, and we'll just break where the breaks are in the alphabet song. So I'm going to say A, B, C, D, break, E, F, G, break, H, I, J, K, break, L, M, N, O, P, break, Q, R, S, break, T, U, V, break, W, X, break, Y, and Z, break. So in my charts, when I was going through them originally, I had the T and the QRS together, but in the song you will hear a break between the S and the T. So if I said A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Won't you sing along with me? I'm not going to get any points for singing here, am I? Are you feeling a little overwhelmed? If you are, it's perfectly natural. And please do not worry. We're going to continue to work together to master the use of the Roman alphabet. And we're going to do it the way we've taught from the very beginning. One step at a time, one word at a time, and one letter at a time. You got this. So we have finished our first presentation on the Roman alphabet. And now we're going to use that alphabet in our phonics, in our understanding the sounds of words, in how the words are spelled, how the words are read, and how the words are defined. So please know your alphabet. It is important. You need to be able to recognize these letters, know how and when they are used, in what combinations they are used in our graphemes to help us represent those sounds, and how to represent the sounds as yourself when it comes to spelling or writing. It will take time. Do not beat yourself up. You're probably coming from a different alphabet altogether. And even if you are familiar with the Roman alphabet in your own language, it is still challenging to use it in English. English is one of those languages that the alphabet, though extremely important, doesn't always represent itself in the way it seems to when we're listening. In other words, what we see doesn't always make sense to what we're hearing. We have to know the rules and know how to put those letters together to form our graphemes so we can master this English language. And we will. Remember, one step at a time, one word at a time, and one letter at a time. So that's all I have to say today for the Roman alphabet. Join me next time when we continue with phonics and the beginning of the word part. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.